different green character going to be coming in with the Toon link for deliboid. We saw how strong his adaptation is in that last set, so I'm curious to see what he needs to do to find his way into this top 8 against Ploopy.
Yeah, and in a pretty tough matchup. Yeah, we've mentioned deliboid's ability to adapt. We touched on it just now. I really expect to see some mind games coming through from the deliboid.
And Ploopy is just a steel wall to get through. His defense is so strong on Game & Watch. He's so good at preemptively putting out hitboxes to get his own offense going that it may be just difficult for deliboid to even get a chance to pull out those bombs.
Yeah, Ploopy, one of the better examples of how Game & Watch can basically just always have an active hitbox out, and every one of them is a threatening one. You can't really safely contest any of them, and we see deliboid already having a tough time dealing with that, stuck in this corner, having to deal with that neutral B.
That neutral B not only keeps you on the ledge, it confirms into stocks with the right hitboxes. Likely going to be coming through sooner than later. And those nairs are going to start killing off the top sooner than later too with this percent. And there we go.
Yeah, right. Right as you called attention to it, deliboid almost lost the stock to his own bomb. But in the end, it was the nair of Ploopy that wound up doing it.
Just, what a crazy move, right? Nair combo starts at 0, converts into itself 3 or 4 times, and then once you get to 150, 160%, it'll steal out the stock.
Yeah, Nair as a character is...
Nair is better than some characters in this game.
Yes, that's where I was going with that. That move can really do it all. And back air is another one that can make a lot of money for Game & Watch. And now deliboid deep in disadvantage. Been off stage for so long that we might even see a bomb come into play to save him. And I believe Ploopy saved him with his recovery, but still taking the stock, only taking 24%. Yeah, the adaptation from deliboid is going to have to be generational.
I was talking about this yesterday. There are very few players that I think dominate as consistently as Ploopy does outside of top 8, and even in top 8. He can take players that are as talented as deliboid and be working on a 3 stock in game 1.
Yeah.
Because he's just such a difficult player to open up.
Yeah, and he's one of those players that just has such a strong game plan that especially in game 1, before you get the chance to kind of set your feet, it's really tough to make anything happen. And being able to just steal a first game like that is such a valuable trait.
But absolutely no opportunity for that in this set for deliboid. Ploopy playing so solidly from 3, 2, 1, go. Getting a couple of back air conversions just to take those really early stocks, and really no opportunity for deliboid to get anything going.
Yeah, they're looking really solid. Really solid. deliboid just couldn't find any chance to set up that advantage that we saw him getting so consistently towards the end of that last set. And again, we saw deliboid kind of had some growing pains in the early moments of his last set, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him kind of settle in and take a moment, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see another character coming out. I saw him hovering over the Sephiroth earlier on, and I have seen the deliboid Sephiroth come out before.
Which, that would make sense in a matchup like this, a big sword just to keep Game & Watch at bay, keep him away from you, just because those 2-lane projectiles are much less of a factor against, again, that oppressive Game & Watch nair. They're going to lose out to them. So it's a matter of getting those bombs in the right position just to preemptively catch Game & Watch approaching. But we are going to be making our way over to a larger stage here on Kalos just to take advantage of Game & Watch just not necessarily having the greatest ground mobility.
Yeah, and that mobility is something that deliboid can very often abuse quite effectively. And we're seeing him able to space around Ploopy and kind of mix up his positioning in a very effective way right now. Finding himself behind Ploopy, overshooting a couple times to a very high success rate. A very high success rate right now.
And already has Game & Watch here at kill percent, but the double-edged sword that we often see on these counter picks is coming into play a bit. Those up airs for Game & Watch are going to be even more potent because you don't have platforms to land on that middle of the stage, and it's a rather large stage at that, but that forward air also is not going to kill because of those larger blast zones.
Right. And that forward air contesting Game & Watch down smash, which even from above can still sometimes be threatening. At this percentage, I would not call deliboid safe from that, especially not now that he's at 100%. Both these kills are so light. And deliboid was a great example of that, just swiping Game & Watch off the screen with the back throw.
And deliboid striking first here after what was a really dominant game 1 for Ploopy, just showing off that adaptation once again, but Ploopy immediately responding there, only taking 27% and already trying to find that oil panic.
I also love seeing amount of mileage that deliboid gets off of stage counter picks. That's something that can kind of lose favor in the modern meta. We see a lot of people just run it back after losing. But deliboid is going to use every trick he has up his sleeve, as this Kalos stage pick is really working out for him.
Because it's not a matter, too, of what it does for you, but also what it takes away for your opponent. So not having those platforms to land on for free in center stage for Game & Watch is so good. It makes his up B, get out jail free options much less potent. And you're seeing that, too, just with how much more consistent damage he's taking in this advantage.
Yeah, deliboid's looking very good right now. He's forcing Ploopy into scenarios. I love whenever he overshoots and is able to get behind the effective hitbox of Ploopy's nair. He's really finding himself winning the positional war every time he gets the shot to, and the timing is firing on all cylinders as well. The up smash slides perfectly before that bomb.
And getting Ploopy to overextend and go for a bit of a risk on that forward air that's tough to do.
Yeah, right?
He's someone that's so consistent at sticking to his game plan of applying safe pressure, but we are going to see that forward air finally, land its mark. But a great low recovery for deliboid. That's another advantage of Kalos that we haven't talked about. He gets access to that wall jump.
Yeah, deliboid lost a couple early stocks in the last game to kind of just being pushed forward and walled all the way out because he didn't have the option to go that low. But now in this set, he could really go as low as he wants, as he effectively has 2 jumps and an up B. So I expect to see deliboid living much, much later, as this stage pick is just doing dividends for deliboid.
Paying wonders. And now Game & Watch looking at the barrel of kill percent himself in the corner. A forward air would absolutely take it with all the rage in the tank for deliboid. And someone who was finding stocks about 100% of these edge guards in game 1. He cannot find those opportunities, but he does actually land that forward air.
Yeah, catches deliboid trying to go a little bit too low. And Ploopy just beats him down there, but up tilt, up air. deliboid is finding him time and time again to bring this to a 1-1 game. deliboid is looking strong.
Just dashing in Game & Watch's face to pressure and get that spot dodge out, to get that cross-up up tilt. Again, the bravery to do that against Game & Watch, to approach to his face, make him flinch, and get that kill. deliboid, he is on a heater in this loser's bracket.
Yeah, and deliboid was doing a lot of things in that game that you don't see a lot against Game & Watch, one of which being hitting him and then staying close but not swinging. There were a couple times where deliboid would wait for an air dodge, Ploopy wouldn't do it, and they would just be within inches of each other, neither of them throwing out a move. And deliboid is right now able to get away with that because he's struck some fear into the heart of Ploopy.
But in return, Ploopy, understanding that that stage was much too big for his liking, so we're going to be shrinking it down to Hollow Bastion. Less room for deliboid to get those grounded whip punishes that he was using so well. And also starting to see some bomb combos coming out from Ploopy.
The bomb combos is a fun thing to have on deck if you're Ploopy. You got 2 bombs at your disposal now with the Fair and the Toon lane bomb. But already, we see, I feel like every time deliboid just throws a bomb wave in the air and waits for it, it somehow goes in his favor. He finds those timings so consistently.
A dead even start this game 3. deliboid making his way back on the stage of that forward air, absolutely going to take it. Such a reliable early kill option for deliboid if he can find those opportunities, and he's starting to get those more and more often throughout this set.
And the grounded extensions that deliboid can sometimes find into tech chases, into down tilts, which can then lead to back airs, are so impressive as she racks up damage in situations you didn't even think Toon could rack up damage in. And already now Ploopy at 57%.
And whether it's on the ground or in the air, he's doing such a great job of floating in Ploopy's space to make him press a button and get those whip punishes. Again, this is not something I'm used to seeing against Ploopy. He's so used to setting the pace that I'm curious to see how he responds to having his opponent setting it for him.
Yeah, and Game & Watch has such a wide and ubiquitous threat range, and the fact that deliboid has managed to stay close to Game & Watch while still just barely outside and in between that threat range is so impressive. But that down air is eventually going to take that stock. We got 2 apiece right now.
deliboid's gotten really comfortable recovering low when he has those offstage scenarios, and Ploopy, as the set's gone on, he's finding more and more opportunities to punish it, but getting yet another up tilt up air punish for deliboid, who's got a full stock lead in the always pivotal game 3 here.
And again, finding that after putting himself in Ploopy's blind spot, just at that awkward down diagonal angle that sometimes Game & Watch can have a hard time covering, deliboid is really sitting in there comfortably and just dancing around him, making it really hard for Ploopy to pin him down.
And I like that Ploopy is starting to adjust the offense a little bit. He's starting to go for these grabs more consistently. If he sees deliboid playing in shield on the ground, he's just getting those dash grabs, making deliboid a little less confident in his defense. And we finally get another offstage scenario, and that Bomber's going to keep him alive, but he's going to miss the tech.
Unfortunate missed tech there from deliboid. What was once a massive lead is now chopped down to a budding sprout of a lead. Still, Ploopy in the corner. Pressure putting on from deliboid. The wall of bombs and projectiles. Ploopy's able to pull off a few bricks and knock that wall down entirely as he tacks on a big amount of damage.
These nairs starting to stack up more and more. Another up B, rinse and repeat scenario. deliboid, can you make it back? Great preemptive up B recovery there.
Yeah, the early up B works out, and he just barely missed that tether recovery. That would have been such a sad way to drop the second game.
But deliboid does have him at this kill percent. We're starting to see those reflectors come out from the oil panic as well. Not even to absorb the hitbox, but just to knock those bombs back at Toon Link.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen too much use out of that reflector hitbox, as deliboid playing hot potato with this Toon Link bomb right now.
Looks like something he figured out in the moment right now that, wait a minute, I can hold neutral on the ground a lot better just by holding this out there.
And he's doing it so consistently. That realization might just be what takes him this game. And shortly after the set, as deliboid just mistimes that up smash, you see him wincing the moment he pressed the A button. As he loses that stock off the top, but he loses game 3.
That might have been the tide turner that Ploopy needed to find his way into this top 8, using the oil panic as a reflector just to make deliboid unable to utilize it in those up-close roll distance scenarios. He's getting to go back one of those boxing tools with the fairs, the up tilts, those back airs, because the projectiles are slowly becoming a non-factor.
Yeah, and I mentioned that blind spot that deliboid was finding himself in so consistently. Ploopy is doing a much better job staying grounded, avoiding letting deliboid find himself in that blind spot, and just holding that reflector and making it tough for those grounded projectiles to be any type of effective. Earlier, Ploopy was trying to avoid those projectiles by going airborne, and deliboid was catching his landings. So now that Ploopy's staying on the ground and reflecting things, deliboid is having a much harder time tacking out advantage.
Finally getting an opening here in this game for Ploopy. Looking for those backers off stage once again. And actually, really have not seen much bacon usage in the set either. We saw it a little bit in game 1, but has not really had the opportunity to do so. With that forward air going to send him off stage, and that forward tilt is going to take the stock.
Nice. And the limited usage of that neutral B has been interesting because it was effective in game 1. Like, deliboid was able to get back on stage, but it did its typical job of tacking on damage. And a nice way of holding out that bucket to make deliboid's bombs do some self-damage there.
Bombs splitting back and forth. We got the forward airs. We got the bombs from Toon Link coming out.
Yeah.
He is able to survive that corner pressure from Ploopy just to start tacking on this extra credit. 24, 38. And now Ploopy is starting to reel a little bit in this game 4. Already almost at kill percent once again.
And deliboid has already found the new adaptation. The F-tilt 2 frames, keeping Ploopy at disadvantage, but eventually able to work his way back out of there, but still not fully free from the shackles of disadvantage, and he frees himself with that forward air.
Ploopy keeping himself alive here, just trying to close this out. He only needs one more game to get this top 8 spot, but deliboid, time and time again, he responds and makes the adaptations to keep himself alive.
I can't believe Toon Link up tilt up air does that.
And he's so consistent with those percent windows.
So consistent, and it kills at like 90 to 100. It's killing Game & Watch at like the high 80s. Just such a great option that deliboid has. Tries to get the timing on that bomb, doesn't quite find it.
Being able to kill reliably from mid-stage in the corner, Toon Link has those options no matter where he is on the stage, and that's so difficult to play against when you're as light as Game & Watch.
Yeah, and just having a consistent kill option off the top is such an incredible thing in this game. Ploopy tries to catch a landing with a down smash, and that's basically what he needed if he wanted a chance to crawl back in this game, as deliboid is able to stifle it, but not fully stifled yet.
Looking for that forward tilt once again in the corner, and he gets the 2 frame, and that is going to force a game 5 here in this top 8 qualifier finesse.
deliboid with some of the most consistent 2 framing I've seen all weekend. Just sitting there with F tilts and down smashes and down tilts. He's finding them time and time again to send Ploopy at just gross angles.
It may sound like the soundbite may be a wet towel, but it has been so helpful, so reliable for deliboid in this set as it's gone on. And Game Watch is so used to being able to recover pretty much scot-free. So now you have to be thinking about those recoveries a lot more if you're Ploopy.
Yeah, and it adds an element of thought in an area of the game where you can usually refresh your rapport and kind of calm down for a moment. But Ploopy now has to always be on his toes, can never find an element of comfort, but the neutral B is going to do just that, as he's really bullying deliboid early on in this game. 5. Hello! 0 to death.
We hadn't seen a back air edge guard that early in quite some time in this set, but this is the best time you could hope for if you're Ploopy in this game 5 to get that early stock lead. And now deliboid on that back foot, but again and again and again when he's in these scenarios, he's come out on top somehow.
Yeah, deliboid was doing a great job mixing up verticality off stage, making it really hard for Ploopy to find a down air connection. And that is a great spot for Ploopy to find one. Now with a massive lead, but deliboid answering with a dominant stock of his own.
He answers the bell whenever he needs to, but he still needs to get that last big hit. He needs to find that forward air, needs to find that up tilt up air that we've seen him land so many times in center stage. But Ploopy playing so evasive right now, just playing so far away, getting these reflectors off, and not engaging in these boxing scenarios.
Yeah, now that Ploopy has this lead, he can really just plant his feet and make deliboid force the issue, which he does right there, answers back.
So close. Just continues to find those openings, stacking on that damage, getting another conversion at mid-stage, another up B. deliboid, he finds these openings so consistently somehow.
He's stressing you out, Pow Pow. How does he do it?
I don't know how he's a wizard, man.
He's casting spells and making us rack our brains. The verticality continues to be a boon for deliboid. As we're still evened up in percentages, the smash attacks from Ploopy are so threatening.
Ploopy going back to that reflector game to just try to find his way in to get these openings. But deliboid seems like he has the upper hand right now just in terms of finding that damage more consistently. Game & Watch really can't find a kill right now unless he gets one of those down smashes, one of those edge guards. And deliboid playing so well around them.
Yeah, he's playing so patiently, and this is the percentage. Whoa! Unless he finds an oil panic. I was going to say this is that percentage where Toon Link has such an advantage in terms of finding a kill, but Ploopy just mitigates all of that. Comes through down B. I got it.
Save that oil panic for when he absolutely needed it the most. Getting that important stock lead here at the end, but deliboid has him at that kill percent. He's trying to find that up tilt, trying to find that stock, but deliboid just cannot find a way through this steel wall of Ploopy right now.
Yeah, Ploopy there had oil, but no panic. He was cool as a cucumber as he steadies forward and takes that stock. Ooh, deliboid able to answer right back, and we got a very even last stock here. Game 5, our third game 5 of this block. Everyone playing close.
Nothing but game 5s here as we try to get these top 8 spots. Ploopy, he has just the smallest lead, gets that up B, and just continues to push the advantage. Another off stage, another back air.
Deep in disadvantages, Deli, can he make it back? He goes too
low.
Oh no! He couldn't make it back. Unfortunate ending. Ploopy stays calm and is able to keep a level head through a shaky set.
You just feel the balloon deflate on that one that had been pumping up for so long. It just ends on a really unfortunate SD. But Ploopy was in control there at the end.
Yeah, just took the air out of the room. Ploopy and deliboid had us on our feet, and so did all 3 of these sets. 3 game 5s, and more hot ones to come, Pow Pow. Can you believe that?
I don't know if I can, man. I don't know how we can continue to get these close game 5s. If we do, it's going to be game 5 and Snake for us next.
It sure is. It sure is, and these game 5s have been